Good evening, everyone. I was up here saying all these secret things, and then I noticed that my mic was on. So it's a good thing that it was way over there, so nobody heard what I was saying. That was very, very secret. We certainly appreciate everyone coming. I'm seeing lots and lots of familiar faces, lots of students, lots of faculty, more students. Oh, look at this. This is what, in from this sunshine. I absolutely can't believe it. Lots of faculty, lots of people from all over the college who have come to the very first 2010 Grand Rapids Community College Business Plan Competition. This is the debut, and we think it's absolutely wonderful. And we are so pleased that everybody decided to be part of this with us. This came about because we're part of a consortium with other colleges and universities in West Michigan, and we're part of a group that includes Grand Valley and Hope and Aquinas and Calvin and Cornerstone and Davenport, and each one of us is doing this individual competition, and then the winner of each competition will get together the middle of April and will compete against each other, against all the winners. And of course, we're doing this, as you well know, because entrepreneurship appears to be so incredibly important today. Lots and lots of our classes are involved in entrepreneurship. Lots and lots of our students, of course, are very interested in being business owners at some point in their careers. And so we wanted to encourage that, and that's why we got involved with this. And we also think this gives a really nice forum for our students to kind of develop some of those skills that are so important in the business world. They're able to sell their ideas, and they also are going to be able to get some constructive criticism from 3 leaders in the business community who have been kind enough to come here and take part in this, again, the debut business plan competition at Grand Rapids Community College. I wanted to do a couple of thank yous, and the very first thank you that I want to give is to the students who are part of this. The students are absolutely amazing with what they took on. The written business plan is an awful lot of work. Even if they had some kind of a background before or some kind of a start, they had to take it and put it into the correct format, add to it, do lots of financial stuff that hadn't been in there before, and so they've worked incredibly hard. Then they went ahead and they worked incredibly hard on putting together the presentation that they're going to do, that all of you are going to see. But the 7-minute presentation they do tonight is just a teeny-weeny part of all the work that's gone into everything that they've done up to this point. The second thank you that I'd like to do is to our judges. We have 3 judges. And the 3 judges that we have, first off, Stephanie Leonardis. And Stephanie is the president of Americam. Americam is a machining. I went to visit Stephanie last Friday, and I thought they were a machining facility. And then she started telling me about the research that they do, the patents that they own, all of the things that they do in the community. I was absolutely blown away. I could not believe it. In addition to all of the community pieces, and they do lots with the Brian Deemer 5K Run, they do Athena scholarships, they do, and I left my notes behind, so I don't have a list, but there's a half a page or a full page of all of the things that Americam does. In addition to that, they also work very closely with Ferris and their engineering programs. And then Stephanie was telling me, well, what we decided to do was then bring in Kendall, the art part of Ferris, and have the engineers work with the artists, which of course is a tremendous learning experience for the students and, as a faculty, for the faculty as well. And so we're awfully, awfully pleased that she has agreed to come here. Immediately to Stephanie's left, I have to turn around to do that, is Tom McDonald. And Tom is the owner and partner of MK and Associates. MK and Associates is a software company. They work with businesses anywhere between 20 and 500 million in revenues. They tend to, they have pockets of business in the Midwest, but they tend to also go nationally and, in fact, internationally. Very strong West Michigan supporters as well. In fact, they hold an annual conference every October at Meyer Garden, bring in customers from all over, show the customers, have customers show their customers, show other customers what has been so successful for them. And at the same time, MK kind of has, you know, this underlying agenda of showing off beautiful West Michigan and beautiful Meyer Garden in beautiful October, because that's a gorgeous time of year. And so Tom, again, has a background at IBM, spent a number of years at IBM, and then he himself became a business owner on his own and has grown his business tremendously. So he knows what you all are going through as you look at business plans. And then we have Bob Kaminsky, and Bob Kaminsky is the president of Mercantile Bank. Now, you probably know that Mercantile Bank is a local bank, and Mercantile was started by Bob and a few other directors and bankers who decided in 1997 that we needed a bank that would support community businesses, and that's exactly what they've done at Mercantile. When Bob agreed to come, I thought, oh, this is absolutely wonderful, because not only does he understand business as well as he does, he also understands what a debut is, because he debuted Mercantile Bank. And so we are so grateful. And in fact, Bob brought his family. His wife and his 3 daughters are in the audience as well. And we're very grateful for them, and we're hoping at some point his daughters will be presenting a business plan too. That'd be kind of fun. And so these are our judges I'd like to thank. A couple of other people I'd like to thank, one of whom is here. I'm not supposed to, she doesn't want the camera on her, she said, but Nancy Gigg is right over there in the pink. And Nancy is the support person for our Associate Dean, Mike Kiss. And Nancy is one of those people who knows everybody, everything, and anything that needs to be done. All you have to do is ask Nancy. I'm kind of a control freak. My students will tell you that, because when they hand in their test, I say, no, I have to put it in order, because I have to make sure that, you know, that's the way I am. And I'm like that with everybody. You know, not a trait I'm proud of, but that's the way I am. When Nancy says, oh, I will take care of blah, blah, I never worry about it again. And so we're so grateful to her. And then we have Shannon Warsh. Shannon is the support person in the business department, does lots and lots of stuff for us. And in fact, Shannon, she just took care of all kinds of details for this. Shannon then, last Friday, went home for the weekend. She had to leave a little early because of a doctor's appointment. And she felt bad that the program wasn't done yet, so she taught herself at home Microsoft Publisher so she could put together this program more easily and make it look more professional. And so without Nancy and without Shannon, we would probably be in a very dark room, and there wouldn't be food coming at 8:15 or whenever it's going to come, and we probably wouldn't have that at all. And then finally, there's one other thank you that I would like to do, because I left her name out of the program. And I feel so awful, because she is incredible. Her name is Lindsay O.C. Spittler. And Lindsay is an associate VP at Mercantile Bank. She works with small businesses. She's a lender. And she volunteered to come into our offices, our classrooms. We stuck her in this tiny little room that didn't have any windows, was surrounded by big old cabinets that are kind of gray. And Lindsay sat there and held business plan boot camp for any students who wanted to come and talk to her. And she helped some of our students immeasurably. She did a wonderful, wonderful job for us. But even more than that, Lindsay did all of this just a couple of days before she flew off to Ethiopia to adopt a little girl. And so she was in this windowless office thinking about, oh my gosh, immigration and what's going to happen and packing clothes and all the rest of it. And she spent this time doing this for us and our students. She is just phenomenal. When she flew to Ethiopia, she brought a companion with her, the father of their new daughter, and that is Brent Spittler. And Brent is the other faculty member, in addition to me. And I was so nervous I forgot to say I'm Mary Barnum. In addition to me, and so now Brent's going to take over.
All right, thank you. Good evening. Yes, I saw Kathleen Owens in the hallway, and she said, "You look really tired." And then, absolutely, there's no lying. I thought I was going to need her counseling services somewhere over the Atlantic. International travel with a toddler, one that you don't know, is always a challenge. Do that at your own risk. But I am glad to be here. I'm in the Eastern time zone, very happy to be here. I find it also funny that Mary said, keep it short, keep it moving. Thomas, she gave us a lot of detail. I really feel good about having you as a judge. And again, I am very glad to be here. Thank you to the judges, but more importantly, thank you to the students that are here. I'm not that far removed from presenting these kinds of business plans myself, and I understand how difficult of a task this is. I'm not sure if we could have picked and chosen a more difficult, complex contest to have here at the college. So I appreciate your efforts, along with the fact that when I presented my business plans, it was not in an auditorium or in front of cameras. So trust me, you have a warm place in my heart for participating in this first year's contest. The way that the contest works is the students, again, Mary talked about that the next steps are into the regional contest. Students presented their business plans to the judges last week, I believe on Friday. Again, wasn't here, but I did see that the judges have spent a considerable amount of time and effort reviewing those business plans. It is all independent student work. We as a business, the 4 of the teams and individuals are currently in the business department, going in different directions. We have one young lady in the culinary department. But they're all independent work, but it has been guided by many of the people in the business department. Felix Piero, we thank you for your efforts. Glenn Gelderlos as department head, we thank you for yours. Also, all the members of the business department have helped all of these students in different ways. So we appreciate that. The way that the competition, this is a competition, is going to work is that each of the individuals or teams are going to come up and they're going to have 7 minutes to present their business plan. We'll break for just a moment. I'll ask them a couple of very short questions, few questions, while the judges can think through some of theirs. Then the judges will have 3 minutes to formulate or to ask questions, have a Q&A. And then the next team will come up, et cetera, through our 5 teams and individuals. The timing bell will ring 1 minute prior to the end of the 7 minutes, and then I think it will ring repeatedly at 7 minutes. So I think they're going to do the same to you judges, so be aware. Except for the 1 minute warning, I think you might get a number of dings. So with that, we will start the competition with our first team. Our first team is Andrea Dersch and Ricardo O'Neill. So please come on up.
Hello, hello. All right, first of all, we want to thank y'all for coming to be a part of the making of Veggies. Veggies was created from my affinity with a healthier lifestyle and not being able to get the fast food, the healthy fast food that I wanted on the go. Veggies, I started to do some research, and I understand there was a considerable niche in the fast food industry. And upon my research, I thought I was feeling a need, but as I looked farther, it seemed that I was feeling a demand. All right, Veggies is a fast food restaurant that will cater strictly to healthy eaters. It won't distinguish from other people that don't frequently want to eat healthy food, but it will help those people that want to get healthy food on the go. Veggies is answering a demand in the fast food industry. Upon my inquiries on Google, I came across 5,900,000 inquiries about the demand for healthy food. We believe by occupying a niche in the fast food industry, plus Tying that in with the health food industry, which increasingly did like 50% growth in 2010, I consider that veggies has a real considerable future. There are more than 300,000 fast food industries in the U.S. alone. The U.S. fast food industry has been growing for the past few years and is expected to grow 5% throughout 2010. And according to our studies, 1 in 4 people eat at fast food restaurants daily. Target market. Our target market would be adults who work out regularly, obesity. Now, upon my research, I found out that Kent County alone, 60% of Kent County is overweight. Plus, there's multiple health initiatives in Kent County alone. DeVos Place is one. They have a thing called FIT, where they're trying to work with the kids, because they say a kid at age 10, if he's overweight, he'll be obese by the time he's 25. All right, the competition. The competition belongs to McDonald's. They have considerable market share. McDonald's had $1.86 billion in revenue. Then next is Dr. Associates. Dr. Associates is the founder of Subway. Mr. Luca and his doctor friend started Subway, and their revenue was $926 million. And then there's Yum's brand, which revenue was $607 million. Yum's brands are KFC, Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, Long John Silver, and A&W Root Beer. The fast food industry has 50% of the market share for the food industry, and brands are becoming less desirable to consumers.
All right, I'm Andrea. Just want to say hi real quick. For our market research, we did some independent market research in the area, and we found that 36% of people have trouble finding healthy food. We found that 34% frequent fast food restaurants 2 or more times a week, and 30% eat or drink something healthy 3 or more times a day. For our advertising, we plan to use local TV and radio commercials, and then we'll also utilize websites and social media. We plan to maintain those in-house to cut our costs down for minimal costs. Also, community events we feel are very important and are going to be a big part of our advertising. And then partnerships with things like the Let's Move initiative that Michelle Obama does through the White House. Veggies is a healthy fast food restaurant that can eventually earn high margins and expand via franchising. For the first year, we really plan on concentrating on our central location in Grand Rapids to kind of get the kinks out of the way before we decide what we're going to offer for our franchising options. And yeah, that's that. Sorry. So with the right industry insight and a great market opportunity, we feel the time is right for a business model like Veggies.
And also, Veggies, just like Subway. It was, people go to Subway because of Jared. Jared, him losing all this weight, eating healthy, feeling better, feeling more exuberant. That's what catapulted to Subway to where it is. And that's the way Veggie would brand itself. Thank you, and that's it.
Where was Veggies when I was driving across the state in my rental, pushing the McDonald's out of the way? I thought Subway was healthy. So.
We was in the making.
Yeah, I don't want to sway the judges, but that's what I needed. Okay. So real quick, well, the judges put together some questions. I am curious where the two of you see your educational paths going. Ricardo?
Oh, well, right now I should have my associates in next fall. I'm currently own my own marketing company as of a month ago. So I'm just trying to catapult myself into the business arena.
Great. And Andrea?
Thank you. Next spring, I will have 4 associate's degrees. I own my own business as well. And I've also, from going to school and taking business classes, especially with Felix up there, I've really found how much of an entrepreneur that I am. So it really excites me to start new businesses. And also, Ricardo and I and some other students that are in the business plan competition here too have started the Entrepreneurial Growth Organization, which is the first business organization in 10 years at the college.
Great, thank you. All right. Now I will turn it over to the judges for their questions.
I just wanted to ask,
Okay.
how do you visualize your restaurants? A Subway type of, like in and out, a sit down, or a takeout with a sit down?
No,
Drive through? I'm just curious.
it's a drive-through. It's a drive-through because right now there's no restaurant actually that caters strictly to health food with a drive-through. And I think the market will be wide open because there's no direct competition, but there's a lot of indirect competition.
So exclusively drive through, or with some sit down?
Exclusively drive-through because Americans and people in general like to move on the go. So we're trying to cater to people that's like leaving the gym, want to hurry up, get home, but want to have something to eat. Or parents are coming from work with their kids, they got time to cook, they want to get the kids home and go to sleep.
I think the drive-through is a great idea because I'll have to tell the folks I know that if Subway had a drive-through, I go there a lot more than I do. So kudos to that idea. How will you develop your menu choices?
We're actually working right now with 2 students from the culinary program here at CC, and they're helping us to develop a menu that will fit the healthy food requirements, obviously, and that also will be nice to our budget that we can produce at a modest cost. I'm sorry.
What about startup capital? What do you have in mind for that?
Well, for our startup capital, this is the first step right here. Just introducing veggies to the community, and taking our business plan into different banks and different businesses to see how much they like our idea as much as we like our idea.
Well, I was ready to place my order after I read your plan. It interests me, Ricardo, when you talk about your strength in marketing, and your target market included baby boomers. I am one, so that interested me too. But one of the things that you talked about is that you were going to look at those markets and you were going to focus those efforts. Can you talk to me a little bit more about that, about the sequence of that on your launch and how that market plan will help to set the stage for a successful program for you?
Okay, well, I'll talk to you about the baby boomers for a general.
Okay.
All right, the baby boomers, like U.S.-wide, like 76 million, 77 million people. They spend the most money, and plus they want to stay young. They want to stay here. They don't want to go. So veggies will be like the youth fountain for those that are in that category. They can come to veggies, feel good, know that we have their best interest at heart, run different campaigns, to encourage them to come with us and let them know our food is good and we have them in our eyes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up is Brad Ecclesdoffer.
Good evening.
That doesn't start your clock, just.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Brad Ecclesdoffer. I'm a sophomore here at the school. I'm the creative officer of the Entrepreneurial Growth Organization that we just started a month ago. I'm getting my associates in marketing and business innovation, and I hope to get a certificate of entrepreneurship next fall. The idea I'm presenting to you guys tonight is a business I'm currently running called Unforgotten. It's a t-shirt company, but not specifically just for t-shirts, but any clothing in general. I figured out a way to adapt different kinds of dyes to fabrics, along with screen printing, so I can venture in a lot of different markets with this effort. These are some examples, and I have people in the crowd wearing my clothes too. They're going to come up later. But Unforgotten is just my passion for art. It's something that I've wanted to do, so I wanted to figure out a way to make money off my art, so I decided to put it into the retail aspect. So I created this 2 years ago. I quit my job, came to school, started studying how to start a business, and just had my passion, so gone with that. Might need this. It's not working. Okay, here we go. So what Unforgotten is artistically rendered designs following mass market trends. I'm going to emphasize on the trends of the year, but I'm going to either take it to an extreme or dull it down depending on how it is looking in my eyes or how my clientele bases that I already have is wanting it to be. My mission is to remain humble and diverse to generate good customer relations along to strive with giving back to communities. I feel that a lot of companies are just trying to make a lot of money these days and they're not really trying to give back to society. And society is really struggling. So if companies were to spend their revenues on their social responsibility to give back, the economy would turn out to be a lot better than it is. So we're a completely locally operated company, vertically integrated here in Grand Rapids. That's my partner right there. His name's Lee. We do a lot of sales on consignment in local businesses and also custom t-shirts for businesses like staff designs, clothing for their companies, and charity donations. So shirts are purchased at a one-stop store in Grand Rapids. I swipe my credit card, which gives me a good credit score for when I get older, of course. And also, I don't have to worry about shipping because I'm going to get the products myself. And I take them back to my house and revamp the clothing that I buy from the wholesaler, depending on what the orders are, and ship them out of Jenison, Michigan. So the shop's set up by, we receive orders. Right now it's just all word of mouth. I don't have a web page. That's why I'm here tonight, to get a web page and start a good inventory. But I don't really need inventory, but I would like to have shirts on stock and like a lot of different products to present for later on. So I receive orders, buy the shirts on credit from the one-stop store in Grand Rapids. I apply the designs at my house. I let them dry. I pre-wash them, and then I ship them out depending on where they need to go, or I deliver them myself. So the figure of yearly amounts is pretty small, but I'm hoping to sell 80 shirts a week, which would be 400 a month. I'm estimating $10 profit for each sale. That's if I sell the shirts at $14 each, but depending on how much detail or what kind of custom designs people want, the price will raise. So I'm estimating $48,000 a year, which is pretty good just for a kid by himself. So expenses to expand my business is $685. I'll need to get a web page, an accounting system, an employee identification number, and a sales tax license. I also plan on spending $250 in opening advertising and discussions with suppliers. Through creating this organization at the college, I can really emphasize on spreading the wealth and the love to students here, artists, and just local businesses. We've been doing a lot of consulting work kind of indirectly here, trying to figure out ways for companies locally to advertise better. So we figure we can spread the name, and also I can go with that. And I hope to be able to collaborate with kids at the college during our meetings at the school next fall and just spread the love. So expenses, projections, monthly expenses equal $2,869. That's involving paying my partner $640 a month. We kind of already figured that out, but it depends on how many orders we get. And then yearly, $34,215. So that gives me roughly $14,000 profit for myself at the end of the year. So we'll keep in a competitive advantage by reasonable prices, and we'll also have 3 types of t-shirts. We'll do generic clothing, which we'll keep just on stock in a catalog we'll create or on our webpage for everyone to view. We'll do exclusive shirts where we'll create a limited variety and demand, or a limited amount of t-shirts we make, and we'll cut them off eventually so they stop being produced, and then it'll create an added value. And also custom shirts. A lot of businesses approach me and they have ideas for what they want to do and how they want to present their business, so then I end up just drawing out a plan like a tattoo, sketching it out, and then putting it onto a t-shirt after I get a good idea. And then I can also modify clothing. A lot of people don't really want to buy new clothes, but they want new clothes. So you can take like an average polo tee or something, and I can modify it. This is a t-shirt I wore last night at the Extreme Entrepreneur Tour. This is our logo for Ego. It's an entrepreneurial growth organization, and I added it to this shirt that I wore. I never really wore this, and then I put it on, and I figured I'm wearing it a lot more. So our primary market is male 16 to 35, and our secondary market is female 16 to 35. We picked males because I don't really know females very well. I'm single, by the way. A man's wardrobe consists mostly of shirts. They're interested in new styles and their outward appearance, which, oh, 1 minute, okay, sorry. They have the capability to surf the web, so they'll be able to look at our webpage, and the older target market might have children to buy, so they'll be interested in our advertising because we're going to keep it pretty generic to attract broad variety of people. We'll keep our edge by talking to our current fan base and getting ideas from them how to change. By giving our efforts or revenues back to donations and big projects, we'll grow, and our word of mouth will spread in advertising. So our competition is major retailers, small screen printing shops, and retailers that donate to charity. And the difference between us and them is we can create descript clothing and nondescript clothing, so it won't stereotype us in the marketplace. We'll also be able to make customized T-shirts, emphasizing more on screen printing. A lot of the local screen printing shops just do screen printing. We'll be able to change it up. And then we'll advertise heavily on causes to donate.
Great. So the most important question of the night, Brad, who is your favorite business statistics teacher?
I'd have to say you, since you're the only one that
Thank
I've
you.
gone through.
Thank you. That is my own little marketing presentation. Yes.
He's pretty good.
Thank you.
Pretty good.
Didn't pay him for the second, but the first check's in the mail.
Okay.
Real quick question again, while the judges are formulating some of their questions. How did you end up with a desire and a love for clothing and specifically the shirts?
Well, I've always liked art, and I figured I should try to make money off the art I've been making. So then I started evaluating different options, and selling canvases isn't really a good market right now, so I figured I would step into this retail clothing out.
Great, thank you.
These are some examples of some stuff I've done, and there's students in the audience that are wearing my shirts if you guys like to come forward.
Brad, as they're coming down, one of the things that was most interesting to me while I was reading your business plan was all the variety of constituencies that you were bringing together for this effort and the power of that. I hear your passion and your interest in doing so. The profit part of this and being able to continue to be socially responsible, but to make sure, obviously, in order to do good, that you are doing well as a company. One of the questions I'd ask you is, talk to me more about your discussion with suppliers. In terms of controlling costs, you listed in your budget a figure regarding discussions with suppliers. Talk to me about that.
Definitely. Networking is very important, so I'll spend the revenues that I create just to go out and talk to them, create bonds and relationships to maybe get that edge. Currently, at the one-stop store, I get an extra 13% off just from creating a bond with one of the managers. So on top of the sales that I already get, I get an extra 13% off. So it's a pretty considerable amount of money off.
Well, I think we all love your creativity and enthusiasm. Those are really important elements to any business. But speaking of this as a business, how long do you want to pursue this for? Is this something just through school or beyond that?
Hopefully beyond that. There's actually a T-shirt brand called, I forgot the name of theirs, but
But you want to,
yeah,
you'd like to grow this and continue.
Yeah.
Then my last quick question: what about volumes? I mean, what if this took off extraordinarily, and instead of getting an order for 100 shirts a week or 50 shirts a week, it became 1,000 or 2,000?
Yeah, I would definitely have to bring on people. For now, I just want to keep it small as I'm in college, so I can study on my, keep my focus on school. But I have made some pretty big, amounts of shirts, so I'm pretty capable of doing it. I can make 60 shirts in an hour and a half, so it's pretty good.
Brad, will you actually have a store for shirt sales, or will you be mainly dealing through other stores?
Yeah, I kind of missed out on that, but I have a friend who owns a scavenger hunt on Division Street, and she's willing to stock my shirts for free. And the location that I'm in currently, there's no overhead charges, so all the money I make just goes straight to myself.
You had a pretty modest advertising budget. You mentioned word of mouth is a lot of how you'll be getting the word out. But to Tom's point, will you be pursuing some other types of advertising as time goes on to get the word out on a more broader scale?
Yes, definitely. I found that like Facebook and networking sites is a very good place to advertise to the younger generation, and also like a couple key billboards and spots that I figure out after I do a lot of demographic research.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Jessica Hayjoist.
What I'm passing out right now are earplugs. You guys are going to need those as soon as I start the presentation. So as soon as everything's passed out, then we'll start.
It's all right, I have a new toddler. I'm used to that.
Is that better? Okay. All right, as soon as you guys get your earplugs out, what I want you to do is put them in your ears. I'm going to dim the lights, and after about 20 seconds, I'll have them turn the lights back on. You guys can open your eyes and take your earplugs out. Okay, go ahead and turn them down. Okay, turn them back up now. You guys can pull out your earplugs. Now, imagine a world without sight or sound. What you guys have just experienced is the shared experience of over 1 million deafblind people living in the United States today. My name is Jessica Hayjoist, and I am the founder of the Popeye Guide Dog Training School. The Popeye Guide Dog Training School is a crucially needed nonprofit organization whose service animals provide the deafblind community with dignity, mobility, and independence. I'll first speak about how Popeye helps the deafblind community. Then I'll explain the Popeye marketing strategy. And finally, I'll explain the finances involved in our venture. Now, first of all, Popeye provides the growing deafblind community with crucially needed sight and sound service animals. The deafblind community is growing. The leading cause of deafblindness in the United States today is age, and with the aging baby boomers population, the number of deafblind in the United States is expected to double within the next 10 years, which will increase the need for guide dogs. Now, Popeye is unique in that it is the only guide dog school in all of North America that has guide dogs trained for both sight and sound. Our animals are sight trained, so they're trained in navigation. They're trained to navigate public transportation systems, as shown here. They're trained to help cross busy roads. They're trained to navigate stationary objects and avoid them, and help with turning, crossing streets, and things like that. Additionally, our guide dogs are trained in American Sign Language, so our deafblind handlers can effectively communicate with our service animals. In addition to this, a pup-by-pup is also trained in sound, so it's trained to alert its handlers to things like doorbells, smoke detectors, and alarm clocks. Now, as you can imagine, for somebody who cannot either see nor hear, these things are very vitally important. Now, clearly, the Pup by Guide Dog Training School produces highly skilled and highly demanded service animals. However, our marketing strategy focuses not only on the deafblind market, but also on the market of potential volunteers and future donors, as we are a nonprofit organization. Now, how does Pup by place its dogs with its handlers? Well, it works very closely with organizations like the Helen Keller Foundation and the National Consortium for the Deafblind. And the reason that we need to work so closely with these organizations is because the average career of a service animal is only 8 to 10 years, and the average cost of a service animal is $13,000. So this is something that a deafblind handler will probably only purchase once every 10 years or so. Now, that's Helen Keller. Now, as for our fundraising marketing strategy, Pup-by is a local company. We operate out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. And the reason for this is because Pup-by has very close community ties with business leaders, potential volunteers, and future donors. Some organizations that we're already connected with are Walgreens, Phi Theta Kappa, which is the Honor Society of the two-year college. We actually have one of those on campus. And various high school service clubs. Now, the cool thing about these organizations is that they are so full of talent and smarts. And we feel that by getting involved with these organizations and having them get involved with us is that we can expand our business because they'll have so much talent and so much information to help us with. Now, like our marketing strategy, the Pup-by financial strategy focuses not only on the cost associated with training guide dogs, but also on the fundraising efforts that will be needed. Our initial startup cost is $47,163, and this cost covers a 2-year period from start to finish to train 4 guide dogs. The sales price of a pup-by-pup to the handler is $13,156.86. An additional 10% of this cost, as shown in the slide, is a donation that is then reinvested back into Pup-by to help us continue our programs. Now, what are the costs associated with a guide dog? Well, this is a snapshot right here. This assumes that we have not received any donations and no volunteers, but it just gives you a nice snapshot look at what costs are involved with a guide dog. As you can see, nearly 50% of our costs go into salary, and this is because we employ specialists. We have an American Sign Language interpreter on staff who's trained in tactile sign. We have an orientation and mobility coordinator who consults with us that helps the deafblind handlers learn how to work with their animal versus a white cane. And of course, our dog trainer who's absolutely indispensable. However, with all of these costs, we do hope to offset them with donations. This is our initial fundraising projections. This is how we hope to raise our $47,000. And we'll continue the fundraising throughout the life of Pup-by, and any additional funds that we raise in addition to our initial startup costs will go to offset the cost of the dog to the deafblind handler. So things like corporate donations, volunteer hours, which will be huge because we have so much expense invested into our salary, and supply donation programs. We're beginning to get a supply donation program in place with Walgreens where we'll have receptacles at the front of each store and customers can actually buy supplies to donate to our program. Now, as you can see, the Pup-by Guide Dog Training School is a crucially needed nonprofit organization whose uniquely skilled service animals provide the deafblind community with dignity, mobility, and independence. Now that you've seen how Pup-by helps, the marketing strategy involved, and the finances involved in running a guide dog training school, I hope that you can see that a pup-by-pup enables a deafblind person to live not as a person with an inability, but as a person with total control and independent mobility. As Helen Keller once said, walking with a friend in the dark is better than walking alone in the light.
Thank you. The question that pops into my mind and probably many people in the room is, How did you end up pursuing this business, this nonprofit? What's the backstory?
Well, I've been having issues with mobility ever since I broke my foot, and when I first saw the business plan competition, I thought, what would be the one thing I would want to do if I could retire and never had to work again? And the only thing I could think of was train guide dogs. And additionally, I wanted to train seeing eye dogs, but then as I looked more and more, I figured out that there is no specific guide dog for the deafblind. The Leader Dogs for the Blind, which is located in Rochester, Michigan, produces guide dogs for the blind that are trained in American Sign Language, but they're not trained as sound dogs. So I thought it was a really cool idea and a really great way to service such a unique community.
Great, thank you.
Jessica, congratulations on the accomplishments you've already made.
Oh, thank you.
And one of the things in terms of leadership, as you decide to launch this and tapping into those skills, of your experience, what is it that you think will be the strongest trait right now to be able to move in this direction for this business?
My strongest trait?
Yes.
Probably, I'm very resourceful, and I'm able to tap into different resources and really view opportunities when they arise. If I'm different business leaders and things like that, I can find a lot of information and work that way.
Thank you.
Jessica, how did the partnership with Walgreens come about?
I've worked there for the past 5 years as an executive assistant, and my boss is sitting in the audience. She's actually in charge of 7 stores across Grand Rapids, and in talking to her, she came up with the idea to have a partnership with Popeye and Walgreens to have the receptacles at the front of the store for donations.
Jessica, what do you think your biggest threats to success are?
I think definitely there's a lot of competition in the nonprofit market, which is why I've decided to work locally, because I have ties to the community and to different business leaders, and I think that that'll give us an advantage.
By that, do you mean raising money?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What I just want to ask too, you talked about having host families for the dogs. Have you done that before? Do you think that's going to be hard to find, those families who will take in the dogs for a period of a year or so?
That's a good question. I haven't really investigated we only raise 4 dogs at a time, so it would be the 4 families, including myself. So I would need to find 3 other families that are willing to do it. And I think with the connections that I have, I would be able to find people. But you're right, that would be a challenge that we would face.
Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Next up, we have Amber Lee, Kelly Bush, and Jason Blaine.
How you guys doing today? I would like to introduce Maestros, which is a split restaurant and a bistro. Our mission is to ensure that each guest receives prompt, professional, and friendly service. Maestro plans to achieve a clean, comfortable, and well-maintained environment for the customers and the staff. And also to live by the philosophy that bigger is not always better. Maestro's experience would change the way of traditional American dining. Maestros will offer its customers a unique dining experience through innovation and art. With touchscreen menus, customers will be able to visualize their meals before ordering. Our customers will be able to gain a sense of independence and creative control. This also provides an opportunity for our waitstaff to spend more time with our customers. The global cuisine at Maestros will provide the customers with the authentic taste from around the world. We will offer live entertainment using performing artists that will complete the dining experience at Maestros. The desire to enjoy a full night of great food and entertainment has consistently consistently been in demand and satisfying social needs of customers.
Okay, so as Grand Rapids continuously grows into a melting pot of many cultures, the demand for more diverse dishes as well as entertainment has grown immensely. People are looking for a different way to dine out aside from the regular fast food and traditional American dining experience. We want to focus our demographics on people who actually have the disposable income during this recession or depression. Such as like our downtown professional buildings, the medical mile people, middle class and high class, who can actually afford to go out and spend top dollars on eating and entertainment and want a larger variety of what Grand Rapids currently has to offer. That, of course, is where Maestro's comes in with our innovative themes and outstanding service. What value will Maestro's bring to the community? First off, Maestro's plans on creating jobs for local culinary graduates. This will help them actually gain the skills or keep some of the skilled professionals in the Grand Rapids area, as opposed to training all these culinary students who are going to school and then seeking job in other cities and states because there's not opportunity for fine dining or to use their skills that they learn at the Culinary Institute. We also plan on implementing the Intern in Michigan program that was developed by the West Michigan Strategic Alliance and the Detroit Regional Area Chamber of Commerce. By offering unpaid internships along with co-op jobs, we will also help students fulfill the 240 hours of work in order to graduate from their culinary programs. This first-hand experience in running all areas of the kitchen will educate students in all parts of the restaurant, such as the front of the house, the back of the house, management, etc. For one of our promotions, Maestro's will actually hold what we call a chef battle, and we'll do this once a month, and we will select a certain amount of customers to come in, either through business cards and email addresses, and each month to participate in judging the dishes. The battle will be between our staff members and students to compete for whose dish will be on the top featured dish for the following month. This will too be a new form of entertainment for our community to be involved with our staff firsthand for a more intimate customer relationship, which will also help us build on our customer loyalty. And this also gives our customers a sense of involvement and will create the word of mouth advertisement that is crucial for Maestro's to get our name out there in a more affordable way outside of our paid promotions.
All right, let me say this is my first time I've ever worked on a restaurant, and I'll tell you what, I have a new respect for people that run restaurants because the financials of this thing are just crazy. Our startup cost, there's so much variance in restaurants. And even the building you're going to put it in, just the real estate market in Grand Rapids ranges from $5,000 a month to $20,000 a month, just depending on where you want to put your, restaurant. After startup cash flow projections, we've did the best we could with the local savory foods and different distributors in the area with getting some kind of. A lot of them don't want to, if you're not going to be a contract customer with them, they don't want to take a whole lot of time with you. You don't want to waste a whole lot of their time, so we got the best we could. And we did quite an elaborate projection of where our costs are at. I think we believe our startup cost to capital we need is about $315,000. Break-even analysis, we figured pretty conservatively just because the economy and the way things go. We are actually would like to put it downtown, and our only competition that we can figure is the 1913 room and Cygnus. We're a higher-end restaurant. We do have a bistro, and we also have a 3-star restaurant where you can come in, sit down, have a nice dinner. The two are going to complement each other. Not always do people want to get casually dressed up. They just want to go have a quick lunch. And we're going to cater to the business area downtown. The addition of all the high-rise apartment buildings and condos, and Grand Rapids is constantly changing into a bigger city. So we feel that a development of a higher-end restaurant downtown would do fairly well. Our investors and bank, I believe that in our projections, we calculated a 10% capitalization rate for our investors on the money that they're going to put in. Each investor will be an individual, individual amount, whatever they can do. We'll work with different investors in the community to see who can do what and what we can get for our startup capital. And that's pretty much it.
Great. So a question while we wait. Individually, what areas of study do you think you'll head into as you pursue either your associates or your four-year degree?
I'll actually be done in May with an associate's in marketing. Where I'm going from there, I don't know. We'll kind of see.
Actually, me and Kelly are both in the international business and the 3+1 program through GRCC and Davenport. And I should have 3 associates and my certificate in entrepreneurship by this fall as well as graduating with honors for being part of the Honors Society. And I plan on going back to get my culinary degree, which I originally started off doing, but the classes are so hard to get into because of the small sizes. So I figured I might as well study abroad international business as well as international cuisine if I'm ever going to live my dream of maestros.
I decided to double major of international business and marketing just as a backup, specified in advertising. So I kind of wanted to cover all grounds to make sure that if there was something in the international business that basically I could use in marketing, maybe just more being resourceful. That's it.
How gratifying. We're counting on you in our community, the young entrepreneurs and your ideas, and what a bounty of talent as you describe that. The differentiation, I know when you were doing your research and when I was reading your plan, and you continued to want to be unique and distinguish yourself. And at the beginning, one of the things that you talked about was your strength was the fact that you were going to have both the global cuisine and you were going to have entertainment.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Would you elaborate, please?
Basically, we want to bring in a lot of the local talent. We want to bring in the local artists. We want to, kind of post them in the wall where, people can buy their art. We want to bring in dance lessons, maybe a lot of the Indian dancers. And basically, we just want to focus on getting the community out. Even if they want to do a show or if they want to, basically if they want to sing, if they want to play their guitar, we want to provide a place for them locally to display their arts.
The nice thing about the buildings downtown is they kind of lend themselves to a multi-room establishment. A lot of them are multi-story. I mean, I'm sure most of us have been to the Bob's or like J. Gardello's or something like that, where they'll have individual floors will be a different activity, like maybe a top floor will be a banquet room, or the bottom floor will be the bar, and maybe the in-between floor will be the nicer restaurant where you can go and sit and get a little bit of quiet. The thing a lot of people think is when you say live entertainment, they think a loud band, something crazy going on. We're talking more in the restaurant like maybe a violinist. Some of the older Italian restaurants will have a violinist that walks around. Ideas like that, not necessarily just a band, but different artists that can come in and just a little bit added value with your dining experience.
Great idea, and I love it, but I have to ask, has any of you managed a restaurant or worked in one for any lengthy period of time?
I've worked in restaurants.
Okay, and I was just kind of curious, in your written plan, you consistently came up with anticipated cash sales every month of $1,460,000, and when I break that down, if you're open 26 days a week, that comes into about 871 meals or tabs per month or per day at $30 per tab. That's probably more than a McDonald's drive-through. I was just kind of curious where you came up with. That's a pretty big number to
yeah, that would be me, and I do not have experience with restaurants, and that was kind of, I took some, just averages, and that's why all the numbers kind of look the same. It would definitely be something that would be researched further if this were to go farther, and we'd nail down numbers a lot better. That was definitely an average, and I'm not sure, without looking at the charts and
It was a
stuff,
bit
where I got those
optimistic, but I was
numbers.
just curious where that came from. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Our last competitor is Colleen Vorel. Well, Colleen comes up, I think it's supposed to be at least in the mid-70s. Tomorrow I want to extend an invitation to anybody that would like to come to the lecture on 2 sample tests of variance tomorrow in 207. Needless to say, I will have about 15. I would love a room this size. So.
Good evening. My name is Colleen Vorel, and I'd like to introduce you to the On the Road Cafe. This restaurant will provide a unique style of food in a unique fashion to an untapped existing demand. The problem that exists today is the combination of a growing Grand Rapids nightlife population with a very limited selection of after-hours eateries. People tend to have 2 options: cheap and poor quality fast food just outside of the downtown area, or expensive high-end entrees at sit-down restaurants that take a long time to be served. And even then, there are only a few that are open after 2 a.m. All existing restaurants are fixed locations that are expensive to maintain. This boosts operating expenses, which require higher menu prices. This also forces chefs to make difficult choices to deliver higher food margin, higher food gross margin, to cover the cost of the overhead. Some of these decisions can result in lower quality and inconsistent offerings to hit their target price points. Additionally, brick and mortar restaurants are limited to the businesses they can attract, or the business they can attract to their location by those that live close by. As populations move, change, and expand in other directions, they may find their target market has left, reducing their sales potential. Oops, sorry. I only got one hand. Solution. We propose to offer a new after-hours choice, On the Road Cafe, focused on serving Midwest street food. This is a delicious, affordable, and mobile food out of a double-decker London bus. Our primary hours during the winter months will be 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. Wednesday through Saturday. Since we will be located in a bus, we will have the ability to move to many different locations around the Grand Rapids area with a special emphasis on downtown. This will allow us to eliminate rents, utilities, and other fixed location expenses, and enable us to take the restaurant to our customers wherever they may be gathered. In summer months, our hours will extend to 6 days a week, so we can service the local festival, carnival, and fair crowds in addition to our in-town clientele. The Grand Rapids combined statistical area has a population of 1.3 million. Our target market of 18 to 34-year-old singles is roughly 24% of that population, which is 320,000 people. Given that our market spends an average of $2,628 per year on food away from home, this gives us a total market potential of over $840 million, of which we need less than half of 1% to achieve our forecast sales. Creation and growth of downtown college campuses like Grand Valley, Cooley Law, Michigan State Medical, Grand Valley Medical, and GRCC greatly enhances the expansion of this target market. While demand for restaurant services in general remains slightly soft, the market for quick service restaurants has steadily increased in the past 20 years and is forecast to increase 10.7% between 2009 and 2017 in Michigan. So there's plenty of room for our business to grow and expand. The Grand Rapids area market for traditional restaurants is totally saturated, with only a few in the downtown area that serve food after 2 a.m. Given the overhead associated with fixed locations, the failure rate is high. 1 in 4 restaurants fail in their first year. That climbs to 3 in 5 in the first 3. According to industry experts, most of these failures are due to 2 factors: lack of sufficient startup capital and location. In any business, cash is king, and the lack of typically means death. Restaurants are no exception. Additionally, like investments in real estate, a key factor in restaurant success is location, location, location. Brick and mortar building-based businesses are locked into their geography and cannot readily move when their customer base does, which it will. On the Road Cafe is not trapped by the traditional business model. We take a 21st century approach to business, moving with the market, not trying to force the market to move with us. In the process, we also eliminate the high overhead that plagues our competition and frees us to develop closer ties to our customer base. It will also allow us to change menus as quickly as we do locations, thereby matching the food offerings to what our customers desire. On the Road, we'll develop a following by marketing through the internet, email, Facebook, Twitter, and high visibility graphic wraps on the bus, thereby making it a rolling billboard. While this is a new business model for West Michigan, it has been a proven approach in several major metropolitan areas around the country. In fact, some well-known chefs have abandoned brick and mortar buildings completely in favor of mobile ones. As principal of On the Road, I am deeply passionate about food. I have been in the restaurant industry for nearly 25 years and have held every position from dishwasher to executive chef. I have personally prepared meals for the Blodgetts, Amway executives, the rock band Kansas, Flo Rida, Sean Kenningston, Tim Allen, semi-pro baseball teams from across the Midwest, and even had a hand in the Fifth Third debacle, the Fifth Third burger thing. Ugh. Staffing for On the Road would be, other than myself, strictly part-time, continuing the theme of being highly flexible. Oh, this enables us to limit the impact that any one employee will have and reducing labor-related risks. This is just a snapshot of some of the financials. The sales are going to vary from month to month. The summer months being the ones that we're going to have the highest profits. We're looking at around 80% net income and roughly 25%. Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
Too much information.
So how did you settle on the double-decker bus?
I saw it on the internet, and I just thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And there, I actually found it in Sacramento, California, and it's already has all the equipment. And actually, California has stricter food laws than Michigan, so getting it to pass here with the health inspector is nothing.
Just so I understand that the concept now, the bus will go down the roads of Grand Rapids and stop to let the customers catch up, right?
No, we'd have a number of fixed locations in the downtown area at a number of different campuses that we would be there for a number of hours. And we would let people know on Twitter and Facebook where we were going to be.
Okay, so you have predetermined locations where the customers know that you'll be there at a certain point in time. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. How will this work in the wintertime?
In the wintertime, that would we'd tone it down from 6 days a week to roughly about 4, from Wednesday through Sunday. And it'll be 10 a.m. to 4 a.m.
I was just curious, do you know if you can legally park at some of these places? I mean, I'm sure if you pulled up in front of the Bob, those restaurant owners probably wouldn't be real happy.
No, not in front of the Bob. If you have a legal parking space, yes, I can stop for up to an hour.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Thank you. And
it's a special transitory food license that you have to buy.
Okay, I was just curious, the place in California that's selling the bus, do you know why they're selling it?
The guy is just
retiring?
He's done with it.
Okay.
Back again to compliment you on how crisp and clear your presentation was, explaining what it was that you're trying to achieve here. one thing that I also found was that you really had well thought out everything that may be a risk
Yes.
for you. Because you started to target a certain population,
Mhm.
and then you said, now there are some risks involved with that. And
Yes.
these are some things that I would do. Did you consult with anyone?
My father, a little bit.
I like that.
My father's
Go-
been in business, and he's
Yes,
an
I saw
entrepreneur
that.
himself. So
And I thought that at the beginning in launching your business, that was one of the strengths you saw, and you thought it was important to count on your father to help with that at the very beginning
Yes.
with the reports. And so thank you very much.
oh, you're welcome.
Thank you. So as the judges leave, I just, my initial statements, I stand behind them. This is a very aggressive project for undergraduate business students to take on. I am nothing but incredibly pleased to see the level of work that's been done here. You all that have participated represent Grand Rapids Community College incredibly well. Those of you in the audience as well, with your participation being here, represent Grand Rapids Community College extremely well. So I thank you all. There will be then refreshments just outside the doors, at least that's so I'm told. And then I believe in 15 minutes or so, we will be coming around to make sure that everybody knows to head back in. The judges will have made their decision, and then we'll have the awards. So thank you again. See you in a few.
What we'd like to do now is we would like to simply thank our judges with a small token of our appreciation. And once we've done that, once we've thanked them, we're turning the entire show over to the judges. And they're going to be talking to the audience, and we don't even know who the winners are. So we'll be sitting out there as well, wondering and waiting, just like you do, just like you are. So I guess my handsome eye candy right here is going to have to.
This one has your name on it, so I apologize for that. All right, thank you. Actually, this one I can say maybe you were the
It might be a men's only gift.
No, actually. We really, really, as I said before, we certainly appreciate everything that you've done, the time that you've spent, but most your generosity and your talents. And sharing talents with students is just a wonderful thing for you to do. So now I'm turning my microphone off, and if you wouldn't mind standing so that the audience can see you as well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. We each wanted to make some personal comments of some suggestions to the participants. But before we did that, I think it's important to say, how did we come about coming up with a consensus on the winners? All these presentations were excellent, and I have to admit that if I go back to my college days in the 1970s, early 1970s, and I'm dating myself here, I probably couldn't have done what all 5 of these groups did, or individuals did. I just couldn't have put the business plan together and presented it with the clarity and the confidence that you did. So kudos to you, because I can do it now with my eyes closed, but I could have done it before. We really came up with kind of 4 criteria for the plans. We looked at viability, because that's always important, the strength of the plan to actually work despite what the risks may be, and that was another key criteria, how each group or person supported their plan, and then we just kind of went through what Bob called, I like this, the common sense test. You know, it's really hard to criticize a plan, but it's also, because it's very hard, we understand, to create a business plan, but there is some common sense to it. So we looked, again, the viability, the common sense, how the person supported the plan, and we thought those were all very important. So with that, I just wanted to make my personal comments, and I'll hand that on. First, when you present, I know it's hard, but try not to read from your materials. Let the presentation guide you. That is, don't read your presentation. let the presentation flow and let it guide you, maybe not follow you, but you kind of follow it and embellish on the key points. And I think that's one really important thing. The second key thing I wanted to say is learn from failure. People thought Da Vinci was a kook, and they probably thought the Wright brothers were kooks. And we all know Bill Gates dropped out of college, and of course now he's the second richest man in the world. But for 15 years, he was the richest man in the world. And he failed at a lot of ventures, and I failed at a lot of things. So learn from failures. You're not going to succeed the first time, and just persevere and go forward. So good luck. I'm going to turn to 7.
One of the things I think is really important is optimization. And I was hearing that tonight. I was hearing that about the business plans of incorporating other ideas and bringing the community, and relationships were very important. And I would encourage you to think about that when you begin to develop your plan, and not just rely on your own resources, but be able to say, if I'm needing more information, if I'm going to go to an expert or even going to a funding source or to understand that, how do I bring them into that development at the very beginning? Because we begin to think it's our business plan, so we only need to talk about ourselves, and to remember that there's such a rich bounty of information and resources here in the community that you can draw upon also. The other is imagining the possibilities. At first, when you start to tell your story, you might begin to develop some ideas that you think, oh, I don't know if that's something that is a solid idea. Jot it down, because it may end up being ancillary, but as you start to develop your plan, you'll start to see how you may incorporate something that's really rather exciting. And I know when you're trying to complete an assignment in a period of time, it's hard to free yourself to think that way, but I would encourage you to do that. That's what I heard today. If you really passionately believed in it, you could stand up and tell your story. And that's really what you're doing in a business plan, is telling your story. I was so impressed. This is so exciting. And to be part of it tonight, the fact that everybody here is not only interested but supporting the groups that were here tonight is just wonderful. And thank you very much for being here tonight.
I as well want to congratulate you all for being here and for taking risks. A lot of folks have built some very successful businesses over the years, and it's because they were risk takers. And the folks who decided to come up on stage tonight, make their presentation, I'm sure you're very nervous, and a lot of planning went into it, but you're risk takers. And that's how you succeed in life, how you succeed in business, by taking risks. I appreciate that. I celebrate that with you. The folks of you who come to watch them tonight, maybe some of you who I heard will make presentations next year, that's great. It shows initiative. It shows that you're interested in contributing to the community, to contributing business, entrepreneurship. That's what this community is all about. So I congratulate you for that as well. As far as the specific plans, I thought you all did a very good job. Some very unique ideas. I think some of the ideas here, as I was reading these plans over the weekend, were, that's kind of neat. As a banker, I'm a numbers person, and I focus on that. And you all had some good support for your plans through that. But pay special attention to those numbers, because that's what an investor, that's what a donor, that's what someone who's willing to invest in you will be looking at. It is the bottom line, is the numbers. Take advantage of resources around you. There are limitless resources, both individually, on the internet, in the library. Folks that you know as mentors can help you put a plan together and polish that plan, because it's a competitive world out there. There are a lot of people who are out there vying for that same dollar, for that investor dollar, and so you'll line up with everybody else and have a chance to make your case. So take full advantage of the resources that are out there for you. But most of all, again, congratulations on the hard work that you've done. Use this as a learning experience, and use it as a foundation to build your future successes on. So thank you.
Don't have a drum roll, do we? But say third place, we'll go third, 3, 2, 1 in the conventional fashion. I'll let you do the first one, Bob. Can you take that one? Third place, we'd like to congratulate On the Road Cafe. Give her a check. You know, we were always scared about a double-decker bus. We thought it was very creative, and Stephanie made a lot of comments about, you know, how she thought that would be neat in downtown Grand Rapids, and we thought that was a very viable plan. So congratulations. Good luck. We also thought it was very good, by the way, that you supported by saying, I've been in the industry 25 years, I've cooked for Amway, et cetera. That meant a lot in terms of experience, and that, you know, you kind of understood what the challenges are. So excellent. Second place is Unforgotten Clothing. Congratulations. Brad, we thought it was, like with everybody, when you've got passion and belief in yourself and your ideas, and then experience at doing this. You know, Brad's done this before. We also thought it was very creative that he brought some other people who actually wore his product. That spoke volumes, so we were very, very pleased with that. Stephanie? And the presentation that we liked for a lot of different reasons, we liked them all, but thought this had the best viability and had a lot of thought behind it, was Popeye Dog Training School, the first place. Congratulations, Jessica. Like I said, we liked all the presentations. We thought that Jessica's presentation had not only a lot of viability, there weren't any investors really, but there were donors. So it's a different approach to how you're going to attract money. And we actually thought that's an area that she kind of downplayed, meaning I think there are a lot more donors out there. Having written grants myself, there is a lot more money out there than you'd believe, and there are a lot of great philanthropists in West Michigan who would help a cause in a business like this. And we thought it was just well prepared. We thought the audiovisual technique was good about trying to get us to understand what it's like to be in a deprivation world, or sense deprived. So just overall about it, we thought it had good viability, it was well supported, and there was a lot of passion behind it, like the others as well. So congratulations again.
Well, congratulations. Again, I couldn't have picked a winner. This is absolutely wonderful. And thank you again to our judges. And thank you to everybody for coming. And next year, we'd like to see lots of you up here presenting your business plan ideas. Thank you so much.